All right. Good evening, guys. It is Tuesday the 14th. It's been a long time since we've done a market review video, but I wanted to make sure that we could get one. And honestly, I have to say, things look pretty good, at least to me. So we'll start off with ETH, go on the weekly real quick and take a look at what we see. And honestly, to me, again, this looks super bullish, right? Another big flush, right? No closes below weekly support. And we're just continuing to leave these kind of massive wicks here. But again, in terms of all the major levels, we are still trading at or above. So when we look in at a bit of a closer level, I mean, honestly, this still looks very, very good, right? We had a pretty clear, obvious grind up. As you guys know, I tried bids just below here. That did not work because they decided to wipe everything. But usually, every low but the first gets ran. In this case, though, we just wiped through them all. Now, if we take a look at how this played out, right, we can kind of see we stopped around this level, flirted with it for a little bit, right, filled this kind of EQ wick, but eventually just reclaimed this as support, right? And we can see on this retest down here, which is basically just testing this exact same level, right? We tested it and then we came back and we held it again as support. I don't know if this helps you guys kind of visualize it a bit better, but you can see we failed to actually close below. And now again, we're just sitting back inside the range, right? We can see what a key level this yellow line is, right? Huge support. This is that 40-70 level we talked about just a few minutes ago. And now we're trading back above. So when I see something like this, I mean, this to me looks unbelievably bullish. I do really think it's just a matter of time until we run the rest of these highs. And again, if you look at this on the 3-day chart, right, same kind of thing. Lots of wicks, no closes below. Same with the daily chart, right? We can see we've got a pretty clean range. This was kind of our breakdown last time. We got back inside. And now we can see again, we've got back inside again. So again, to me, what do I expect to see out of this? Hold this level here, right? As long as you don't close below, this should run up to 5K. And honestly, I think we will get it sooner rather than later. This has been a chop fest. A lot of equal highs. ETH kind of sucks to trade, and granted, I got bullish around the top. But honestly, I said it the day we nuked. I'll say it again. Spot buys were good. Think they're going to play out well, and I do think we see 5,200. Similar thesis when we move on to BTC, right? I mean, this obviously doesn't look a whole lot different. It's just the same kind of thing where you've got a pretty big range. And again, this is kind of your key level, these 110s, 109s, whatever, old range highs. And we just haven't got a close below. I'm drawing a bigger box here just for clarity's sake, but you guys can see, right? We've had a couple candle closes back inside the range, but each time this has given us a nice bounce of support, and it continues to do so. So I don't really care so much about the structure of these highs. To me, it's just a bunch of equal highs. I guess this could be a stop run, right? But then this is also a stop run. But again, to me, I think we're just going to ping pong for a little bit. And because of how ETH is looking, right, just having that better market structure, I do think ETH will perform better. But either way, I think this goes back to the same spot. So if you look at this, right, our point of breakdown on ETH is here, right? And BTC just hasn't got there yet, right? So if we go on a bit of a shorter time frame, our point of breakdown is around here. We haven't quite tested that yet, but I'm fairly confident that we will. I really do think it's hard. It's kind of hard to put a trade here, but stops at the lows definitely should hold. I don't think we should come back here at all. But I honestly do just want to see this kind of go up only, at least if it were me. Now, moving on to Sol. This one doesn't look the best, but again, we're just holding that exact same level we've talked about for months, right? This 181. It is the old range high and also the now range low. You lose this, you probably go back to this blue line here. Until you lose that, you're going to stick around here. But granted, this looks fine, right? Again, didn't break down from 181. Now you're back in, I guess, this old kind of range here. Not a whole lot going on. Again, to me, I said this, I think, a few weeks ago as well. This is not the most interesting coin to me out there. Because, again, against Bitcoin, it's just pretty weak, right? So if you look at that ETH BTC chart, this looks a lot better, right? We can see this has actually been grinding up for the last couple months. And again, that's part of the reason why I like this chart a lot better. You are holding the upper range over here, so much more likely you're going to get and see this expansion. But if you look at something more like Sol BTC, yes, it looks okay, but end of the day, we're just kind of in a range. And again, I expect Sol to kind of behave similarly, where I don't really think it's going to do great, don't really think it's going to do bad. You're just kind of stuck in this range up here. And I'm sure eventually, right, if we get a nice bull run, we'll end up at 300 or so. But I don't think it's going to be a top gainer by any stretch. Now, this is a coin I actually think you guys should take a look at. Probably just buy it, is my honest advice. But this looks very good. Extremely, extremely strong coin, stuck in a range, looks very bullish to me. Granted, I got some of this coin as part of an airdrop around 6 cents, so I'm quite lucky to have this coin. But again, I imagine this is going to keep kind of grinding up. And again, if I were looking to take this as a futures trade, target the EQ of this wick. I am almost positive that we will trade back here again. I think this is a very safe level, and it's quite tight as well. So to me, I would just shoot for this to start, and then all-time highs later. A lot of coins look like shit. Nothing new on that front. ApeCoin, right? This is not great. But again, you are just holding that range low. So again, most of the trades at this point have a very easy invalidation. Just put your stops at a close under the range low. But for me, not overly interested in that. I did buy some Jupiter on spot, just because of the fact that we are at the range and I believe in the product. The chart is terrible, so please don't buy this based off the chart, because the chart will leave you disappointed. Buying this as a spot play, just because I like the project. Chart by itself looks kind of fucked. Not worried about this wick necessarily, as much as I just think this is a bit weak. But again, on a local level, like LTFs, it looks fine, right? You're just kind of making higher lows here, kind of not. But yeah, that long wick is a bit worrisome. But again, how does it actually look? It looks fine, right? This one looks great. Tau. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit late on this guy, but this looks great. I mean, I wouldn't buy this up here, but I'm sure. I wish I bought it a few days ago. I was going to. I would imagine this does come back at least a little bit, probably to around there. But I would just buy this on spot and then kind of forget about it. A lot of coins are just going to zero, like Ordi. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. This is clearly going nowhere. With still holding this one, you've swept every possible level. I like the coin. I'm just buying it for fun. Luna going to zero. Fed probably going to zero as well. Doge. This one looks good. That's cute. I like this. Why does it look good? Higher lows, right? We're not running all these lows. Granted, you're kind of stuck at this range over here. I think if you hold this, though, it'll look quite good and trade probably back in this range over there. That being said, I'm not running to buy this one just because it's a little bit weaker. But again, probably does just fine. Stark, kind of interesting. This one I'm buying. I'm a buyer of Stark coin. Can't believe I'm saying that. But you are actually nicely holding the range on this guy. Very interesting 3-day chart as well. And I do think that this is going to cross bullish eventually. Somehow. I think it'll pump. I really do. I'd want to see this probably go to like 30 cents. So another easy play. I wouldn't use a ton of leverage. Although I guess you could, in theory, do like 5x leverage or something. But I'd look for 30 cents. I think that's a pretty safe bet. AAVE, another coin. Looks pretty okay. Again, don't think it's going to break any new records. Not one of those crazy bullish coins. But if you can hold that range, you should just chop along there. Otherwise, I mean, this kind of says it itself, but you'll probably just bleed out into there. No real bias on this one. Don't think it's very interesting at this price. You've just got a massive stop run here. I'd wait. I wouldn't touch it. Injective, maybe worth a buy, but probably not, being blunt. Yeah, wouldn't really bother so much with that. Looking at AVAX and kind of anything in that category, it's kind of the same thing as AAVE/Sol, where again, you've got a bigger support level. You're at that support. It's a big range. Again, the big issue with all these charts that are just clinging on to support is these AVAX, or really any other BTC charts, right? These all just look pretty bad. So again, that being said, there are always good coins that you can buy. Again, JLP USD. I've showed this since day one. I wish more people bought it. But if you bought it when we talked about it, literally all throughout here, even in March and November, on the dip in March, even at the highs, right, at $5 or whatever, you're still up an unbelievable amount considering the fact this is zero effort, right? Buy it off the lows, you're up 70%. Buy it off the highs, you are up 20%. And again, this is a very, very low risk asset. It's just a compilation of BTC, Sol, and ETH. But again, they constantly use the fees to rebuy more and more coins, which is why the price goes up even when the market does not. If you haven't bought this yet and you're in my server, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Please buy it. It'll make your life so, so much easier. And again, I hate seeing you guys get cooked on scams. Yeah, just sucks. Hate seeing it. Really do. I think a lot of stocks look good. Apple, all these things. I'm just holding them. No real directional bias. Just probably not worth selling them right now, is my honest opinion. Until the market really proves the bull trend over, I'm not looking to front run it. Because honestly, a lot of growth is left, in my opinion, and even if I'm wrong, most of my money is in Carrot or stable coins or stuff like that. So having some exposure is not bad. Just make sure it's not all of it. Because again, especially if you hold coins like this, you will just get destroyed on exposure. So looking at BTC on a long-term chart, what do I kind of think is the eventual resolution for this all? As long as you stay above here, in my opinion, you will get this move. You will see the 150k, 140k mark. I'm not overly worried about that, and I do think it's quite realistic. A lot of coins, again, you just want to look for the market structure on these things, guys, right? Look for the ones that look better. And again, look at this, right? It's okay. You've got a higher low, right? You just went all the way back down to here, right? But it's higher than this. That's good, right? But again, compare that to ETH. This is obviously much, much stronger. And if it were me, guys, I would not hesitate to target the stronger asset and use wider stops. But that's just me. I do think that will be successful. Now, looking at Aster, because I know this is a very popular one, I do think it looks good. We got the $1 sweep that we talked about, just barely, right? Now you've reclaimed this support here. You're just kind of grinding up. But as long as you get back above here, which it looks like you're going to do without too much trouble, right? I would imagine that this is going to run at least to around 220 or so. Maybe even all-time highs. Hard to tell. That's kind of the first logical level, is that $2 mark. You know, maybe as well, just a little bit above here. But again, to me, this is something that I would definitely keep an eye on, because it looks good. It looks good. There was something else I was watching. Oh, can always do Bert. Bert is always a fun one. This looks good, right? Just that yellow line. This yellow line is just turbo support. So as long as you hold that, I would not be overly stressed. Looks good. No complaints. It's good to be a Bert fan. You still have this mega weekly level that you resisted support, right? Whatever, chopped along it. And now you've continued to do well. Gonna quickly go over a few resources to look at if you haven't checked them out already, just to earn some easy passive APY. If you have not checked out DeFi Tuna, definitely check it out, because you can just lend spot assets. So I use this mainly for Bitcoin or JLP. Interest is not huge, right? But on some coins it's better, obviously, like Sol. These are a bit low. I think Euro for 9%, Orca 4%, whatever. A lot of different sites like these. These are fantastic. Drift. Drift is a big one. I use this one a lot, mentioned it many times. Again, this is not going to make you rich overnight. Clearly, this is wonderful to see back to zero and fucking me again. Not really sure what's up with that. But usually this sits around 10 to 11%, I want to say. And I would continue checking that out, even if you have some days like this. Lastly, neutral trade. I think this one is great if you want to take on a bit more risk with higher APY. Delta neutral JLP is great. This is fantastic. I think this is the one that I'm currently using. Also, neutralized JLP is fantastic. I would just stick with those two. Wouldn't go out too far. Just keep in mind APYs are always an estimate, so these can change. But yeah, guys, this is gonna sum up this video. Looks like they had a really big spike here. I think that's what what's it called? Someone else was telling me about that a few weeks ago. I did not get that big pump because I am in Vault 3, so unlucky for me. But you can obviously pick the vault that you want. These are good. Obviously, again, we're working on our own version of this that will hopefully be better than all this stuff put together. But again, just want to give you guys some options in the short term. That's going to sum up today's video. Hope you guys have been well, and I look forward to making some more soon.